Hello, this is Eileen, the environmental educator. And in this video, we're going to talk about Mikey Bloomberg here. You all know him. You know who he is. He's done very well for himself in life. And he just printed an opinion that this was on February 10th, 2023, that the World Bank must take bolder action on climate. Its own history shows multinational development banks have the power to tackle global challenges, and no challenge is bigger than climate change. Oh, that's interesting. Because remember when he ran for president back in 2019, 2020? It was the election was in 2020. Yeah, I applied. Well, I knew they would have no interest in real solutions, but I said, I have the light years best. This is what the world needs. This is my December 18th rejection letter. They're still in the process of reviewing applications, and they're going to review their resourcing needs. Yeah, we'll be in touch soon if there is an open role that may be a fit for your skill set. The skill set of the light years best environmental education and agenda the world still needs. Actual real solutions that don't cost gazillions. National Public Servant John Kennedy it was the end of last week, I think it was Friday, grilling somebody about you need 50 trillion for climate change. I just left him a message and I'm like, we don't have 50 trillion. And this is what we need. Now, Kevin McCarthy can't be bothered to get this to you. Comer, he's been out on some people lately, so I've been calling him. No national public servant's office is going to care about solutions. The Climate Caucus doesn't. Every environmental voice in Congress doesn't. They're all idiots. They're all frauds. But maybe Kennedy will. We'll see. I mean, hemp. Why are we not doing this? Oh, that's right. Because when Mike was running his campaign, he just couldn't be involved with solutions. So this is December 18th, 2019, January 13th, 2020. Thanks for my interest in joining Mike campaign and the time to apply for a full-time role. Unfortunately, we currently do not have an active job that we can see your experience and skills fitting. Okay, Mike was in part running on the environment. However, our resourcing needs are evolving on a daily basis, and we would like to keep your resume on file to reach back out should a role arise that may be a fit. So maybe if Mike decides that he's interested in actual real solutions that would produce real time, right now, positive benefits, not some pipe dream in the future, yeah, they'll keep my resume on file. But right now, they do not have an active job that my skills fit because Mike can't be bothered with actual real solutions. And then for a month later, February 25th, basically the same thing because I replied back to them like, no. How can you refuse this? But they can. But here Mike is out talking the most ridiculous things going. Yeah, time is running out for the World Bank to become the leader on climate change that it needs to be. There is no bank that is going to be the leader on climate change. The leader is going to be businesses and people that actually implement real solutions. And like a president, someone running for president that would actually get you on an agenda that you need. The World Bank is not our environmental solution. But it says here that the World Bank in particular lags behind and is still not aligned with the Paris Climate Agreement. Well, guess what? No one is. Okay? None of these agreements and treaties for decades and decades have ever done any good except produce more negative results. Okay? This is absolute ridiculous. But Mike says the good news is that what needs to change at the bank is clear and it seems to be moving in the right direction, but it must move more boldly and more rapidly. No, you know what must move more boldly and rapidly is people actually allowing solutions that would do real time good right now and solve our problem. And a bank has absolutely nothing to do with it. The bank's mission is reducing poverty and increasing economic development. Okay, that has nothing to do with the environment. But well, Mike somehow thinks it is because as warming intensifies and extreme weather worsens, the developed world will increasingly suffer the worst harms, making it more difficult for countries to meet their economic and social development goals. What? And putting access to clean, reliable, affordable energy at the center of its work is the only way the bank can fulfill its mission of supporting economic development and improving lives. Really? Maybe the bank could just fund hemp, and they could fund, hemp that's ending our disposable society and hemp cars. This is all absolutely ridiculous. This is just Mikey, who has prevented real solutions for a few years now and is pretty adamant about it, is now just talking, ridiculousness. But while many developing nations are eager to move beyond fossil fuels, they aren't getting the support they need from the World Bank and other development banks. That's absolutely, who cares? That's absolutely, the World Bank is a bank, and it has nothing to do with people living responsibly. That's all you need, is to educate people and to get people living responsibly and to get us on a reusable society where you use them. And the World Bank has nothing to do with that. But right here it says the World Bank came into existence to help rebuild countries shattered by World War II. And it shows the power of multinational development banks to tackle global challenges. And no challenge is bigger or requires more international cooperation and coordination than climate change. Yeah, like people that are running for president to lead the world that won't allow solutions, Mike. Okay? Had Mike gotten us on this, like I said to Barack in his first presidential campaign, even if you don't win, if this is introduced and it starts getting worked on, it will continue. It's not going to stop. Even if you don't win, this will continue. So we win. But Mike has no interest in real solutions. Yeah, I can imagine what his green summit is. But he's out here just promoting ridiculousness. So right here under risk, he talks about protecting private investors. He says in the developing world, clean energy projects can run up against any number of obstacles that lead private investors to view them as too risky. Weak credit ratings, concern about a nation's fiscal or political stability, uncertainty about exchange rates, and fear of inflation. But those obstacles can be overcome if public financing is used as a form of insurance for private investors by reducing the risk of losses. That's not free market capitalism. Capitalism is you put your money in and you make it work, and if it doesn't work, well, then you take a loss, and then you take gains and reap the benefits of things you invest in that do work. Okay? But Mike just wants to use this bank to protect private investors from loss. I don't know who funds the World Bank, but it's public. He says this can be done, for instance, by having the World Bank be first or second in line to accept losses if an investment proves unsuccessful or by guaranteeing loans. So yes, the independent investor, they'll, if it works, they're the first to just, yeah, watch those commas grow. But if it doesn't work, they're protected. That's not the way capitalism is supposed to work. But Mike says here the whole point of a publicly funded bank is to take risks the private sector would not, to achieve a goal that carries broad public benefits. Well, then the bank can take the risk and then reap the rewards, not put it to the private sector. This is just guaranteeing investors don't lose, as far as I can see. But Mike argues against that. He says here, critics charge that private investors should not be able to push losses off on the World Bank, and certainly there should be guardrails, but that criticism ignores all the public benefits that come with accepting higher tolerance for risk, and it pretends that private investors can be pushed into accepting higher risk simply because the public needs them to. No, the public's not demanding that the private sector do anything. They're not demanding it. If the private sector doesn't want to invest in it, they don't have to. So I'm not sure Mike's argument holds water here. But Mike says that that's not the real world, where there are regulatory, fiduciary, and other binding constraints. Incentives are necessary and could unlock financing at enormous scale, given that hundreds of global financial institutions are actively seeking investment opportunities aligned with the net zero transition. So, I don't know. You decide. I know one thing absolutely for certain is that this man here, regardless if he wants his private investors to, you know, benefit and not lose at the cost of the public, he absolutely prevented the light years best environmental education and agenda the world needs since he was running for president. So, Mikey, this is what the world needs, and the World Bank really essentially has nothing to do with it. We need somebody like you to stop making ridiculous arguments for some time in the future and to actually get on solutions that will achieve huge, massive betterment immediately. So, stay tuned, people.